Hello, the game has started and my opponent has opened with the bingo and just looking if I have any decent players here. I have Faye for 48. Not a bad pickup. I have the Aero prefix. Roseate springs to mind as a bingo. Do I have any other bingos? The N looks useful with this rack. Earstone and resonate. Roseate plays in column K. What about the T? Not seeing anything with the T. Roseate almost plays underneath Antient. Just the XI failing there. Opponent taking... Oh, he's finally played with Cage. Just looking at the C as well. Fag doesn't take an O, otherwise Roseate would have... I think Roseate Cage doesn't take a S front hook, unfortunately. Roseate for 72. Okay, not a bad pickup. Moiliest. I don't think Moily. Roiliest, but not Moiliest. I have the semi-prefix, semi-oil, semi-coil, no. I have the mis-prefix. That doesn't seem helpful. And I have the ism ending. So I'm seeing all these prefixes and suffixes, but not a whole lot of help that's doing me. I don't believe moiliest is good. I also have the ISO prefix. Opponent takes out a hot spot there. Now what about the C? Limousine through an N. There's an N there. What about the C? Isoclimb? Why does that ring a bell? Limousine for 6. Oh, that's not how you spell it, is it? Yeah. What about limo? Semi-coil. I think I'm making this up. ISO climb. No. Okay. What to do? Limousine. Melanize. But that's melanize, I believe. Melanize. M-E-L. Yeah, it's not even close. So, not seeing anything with the N. There's the shin ending, but emulsion if the I were a U. Elision, but not melision. Okay, I think I'm giving up on the old bingo search. And the R, well, I don't see anything with the R. Semi. So what do I get rid of here? Wow, this is not easy. I mean, I suppose I could play my for 10. That feels so weak. I have to get rid of one of the I's. It's imperative. Okay, I'm going with this. That's a good looking rack. Soilage and goalies. Goalies does play in column L. And it also plays here, but I think goalies here is going to score more. Yeah, I'm going with goalies. A terrible pickup, but I did have a good couple of racks before there, so I can't complain too much. But this is pretty awful. Urva is playable. That would get rid of one of the U's and the V, so I'd be happy with Urva. What about Vogie? I don't have an E for Vogie. Voguey. Uvulu. No. Uvula. That's almost no score at all. Curvy doesn't quite reach the double. Mo takes an R. So what about... keeping 2 U's on the rack is awful, but Yar is a decent score, actually. 35, that's hard to pass up. Wow, that's tempting. That rack leave must be about -12 or maybe -15. So it's maybe a 20-point score in reality. Okay, opponent has played with Gorp at the top. Do I suffer this terrible rack leave. I think I do. 35's just too good to pass up. Okay, that's not too bad. I have Zuave. Doubtful that this will remain available, but look at that. One way to get your rack from shocking to half decent with a bingo-y score. I'll be very surprised if that remains available, as it's one of the best scoring spots on the board currently. Oh, okay, opponent has bingoed, and my Zoave spot remains available. And I think I'm going to go ahead with it because the rack leave is pretty decent. UN has some synergy, and this way each of us get to play one of these triple word squares because that's separated by the V. So let's go with this. 56. Not a good pickup. Around is a 6-letter play. Around. And I have unadore. If one of the O's was an E, I'd have unadore. But I did have to play on to another D, unadored. So that's not happening. What about road? No, rude. Rude for 31. Wow, opponent's bingoed back to back there. So that's pretty rude. I might go ahead with rude here for 31. Okay, not a bad pickup. Waranui from a W. No W available. Does that C help? Echidna. Oh, opponent has scored well with clue, and he's just about 7 points behind now. So I could burn the blank and play something like bunch, but I don't think it's a strong enough score to justify that. Does this E help? I'm thinking of euphoria or Inia. Is it worth holding out for another bingo, or do I just try to outrun my opponent on score? There's a Q still to come as far as the heavyweights go, but wow, look at the consonant-vowel imbalance. There are so many consonants and so few vowels. So this is going to be pretty decisive, I think. I don't have a way to get my H to be tripled twice from J2, which is a shame. Wow, this is an interesting... HE here would be a 26-point play. If I play HA here, that's a 30-point play. I quite like that. Opponent's Q can't do much damage as far as the board currently stands. I think I'm going with this. 30 points. I draw the K, and I'm going to keep these vowels as long as I can because there are 5 left. uke is good and ki is good. So opponent has exchanged. I'm just going to keep surging ahead with these scores. I cannot see a bingo here. Maybe an unword. To unliken. No. My time is running low, I am aware of that. The board just doesn't support bingos, does it? I mean, the mizzen is good, so maybe just en to kill off the bingo lane. Mizzen isn't good. It's his'n that I'm thinking of. I think I'm just going to close this off so opponent can't utilize the hooks. 14. Unalike. Now, would that play? No, I don't think so. My K spot's still available in the top right, KI for 30. Opponent now desperately needs a bingo to get back in the game, but the J is still on offer. And I think I will play KI for 30 at the top. And 4 vowels to go. There's a little bit more of a balance now, but still a definite shortage of vowels, so I'll be hanging on to this E and U as long as I can. Now, what about a HY play? Maybe just UH. That's a 28-point play. And I also have Huey here for 23. That's no good. Brent. Does that take an S? Ye Brent is good. Yod and nothing. 7 tiles in the bag. Wow. I think I will go with UH. 28. I draw the J. Interesting. I don't think there's a S play there with the J. Row takes an A and a few other hooks. Opponents played QI. Wow, look at just 1 vowel to go. Just not seeing any great J spots. I might just play Jet. Feels like a waste of a blank. or jut. Opponent's got an S. Yard is good, and deny. Yod, zen. KG is good, and nothing. Lighty, nighty, dighty, no. That's a shame. NY and NY, 20 points, better than nothing. Or, yeah, there just aren't a lot of scoring spots. Okay, so opponent does take the S, opponent gets stomped down, and nigh for 20. And RT, can he go out? Deg and yard. Tried, yes, he can go out. So final score 453 to 476. Thank my opponent for the game. Let's see what we missed. Wow, pretty choked up at the end there with Antient comes down by opponent. Faye was best for 48. Then opponent had Cage for 18. That looks fine. And Roseate best for 72. Earstone and Resonate also available. Opponent had Bio for 25. That looks fine. No bingos here. I took a while. I just thought I was missing something. But yeah, pretty ordinary scores. So I just went for MI, which I just want to see where that featured. MI, pretty low down, 25 equity as opposed to 30. So not that big a deal actually. Then we've got, and I'm just looking at Moit, M-O-I-T, which actually takes out a useful R, and also makes parallel play bingos more difficult, slightly more difficult. So I don't really like Moit for that reason. It also disturbs the N as a floater, so I think creating the bingo lane was strategically better than the other Moit move, because I was very close to a bingo, I felt, after playing off MI. So that was that one. Then opponent exchanges here, that looks okay. And goalies then does come down for 74. Goalies at 14I. Okay. Goalies there. Yeah. Suppose. And then opponent's got Pariu for 36. Goes with Gorp for 21, but a better rack leaf. Covery with 2 U's. That's a big score. I would have gone with that. Covery for 32. 2 U's. Okay, I went with Yar for 35. Weavers comes down for 76. And our opponent's catching up. Zoe for 56 was best. Nouveau. Yeah. And then opponent's got Dollied for 82. That was... now he's just kind of on my tail there. Rude for 31 was quite good because it took out a hot spot. 5E, the analyzers suggesting Duna. Duna, nice parallel play. But this is a pretty hot, this is potentially a 50-point play for my opponent if he's able to, get a big score down there. So I just didn't want to take the chance. So I took it out with Rude for 31 and still happy with that. Now opponent was struggling with a vowel shortage but still scored well with Clue for 31. And then Norch. Now I was actually thinking of doing playing. That would have preserved the blank. I was going to burn the blank, but yeah, for 36 it wouldn't have been worth it. And Norch is quite nice actually, because EI blank keeps 2 vowels and a blank when there's very few vowels left. So I do like that. Maybe that was a miss. I'll count that as a miss. But Ha wasn't terrible either. Now opponent's got no vowels, exchanges, and Kune for 27, 13L. Yark and Kuhn. No, I'm not going to leave an E floating in the trip lane when there's so few vowels left. It's giving my opponent a real chance at getting back in the game. So that's a no-no. Kench. Yeah, I'm a little bit more open to Kench for 28 with that rack leave. But again, it leaves an E there for opponent to do something with, and why put vowels out in the open when he's clearly going to be struggling with the board as it stands because of the lack of vowels out there floating to utilize. So I went with NE just in case my opponent had a fancy bingo with that second blank from the bottom. As it happens, he didn't have any vowels. Brent, okay, for 15 looks fine. Now Sunlike. Oh, that is disappointing. All right. I think I even mentioned the like component of the word. I said unalike, but I just didn't think of other like words. And that is pretty poor to miss an everyday word like that. So I played KI in the top right. Now opponent's got this rack to deal with. Fricht for 28. That wouldn't have been enough for opponent. He needed a bingo. And then I just kept plugging away with scores in the late 20s and early 30s. Chi for 41 was a big score. So that was also, I think, an oversight by me, giving an easy Q spot to opponent, because it wasn't a Q-friendly board, but I just didn't even think of the QI. Knowing that the Q was there, I should have identified that. G'd for 24. On to ED. That's actually not bad. Yeah, I like that. And Juve making ENE. So that was... I just went with Jut. And for 28, a higher score, but it meant opponent would probably go out first, because Stomp for 35, and then Ye Go for 33. Wow, that would have been nice. Where was that? Oh, there, Ye Go. I did look up there, but I just couldn't. I forgot the old Ye Go. So I went with NY, and then opponent out with Tried. So that was the game. A couple of misses. Actually more than a couple of misses. But yeah, hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I'll see you next time.